I'm glad you recommended Iron Man. That was like Iron Man 3. That was the perfect thing you could choose for watching tonight.
I haven't seen it in years, and I didn't really want to watch anything with a bunch of superheroes. Just the one.
You wanted it to be a center focus around someone in particular.
Right, like Spider-Man. I was checking out those animated ones, but
Yeah. All the Spider-Mans are good though. They're all really entertaining.
Yeah, they're actually really good. And the one with Drake Bell, that's a decent cartoon.
I like it. That's I think ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he was already amazing. That's what they stated in the first episode of that show, anyways.
Yeah. No, I like it. You get the whole teenager Spider-Man vibe. Nerdy, articulate.
Yeah. You kind of see why at the end of, like, when he finally puts his personal suit together, that he sews it.
Yeah.
He's a 17-year-old that knows how to sew.
Right. He understands that he's getting there, and I like seeing the progression in the films.
Yeah, Marvel movies are incredible. Like, they do put a lot of work in most of them.
Yeah.
Some of them not so much.
Cut corners here and there when they think people won't care, I think.
Yeah.
That's how it appears.
So we talk about this all the time, of course, but more on the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp bullcrap. Like, you've watched way more. You've watched hours and hours of
probably
this case.
6 or 7 hours, just like a TV show.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah, I've watched maybe a total of like 45 minutes overall.
Okay, I'll listen to it when I'm like working and stuff, like a podcast. But it's interesting to me. I'm intrigued. I want to hear what is coming out. What has, like, it's an important thing for a man. It to be in domestic abuse. A lot of people think, oh, that can't happen. How
that could never happen.
Overpower
well, that's exactly what she said too, and that like most recent thing that came out, like
in her quote, of the recording.
Yeah, they referred to her most recent recording that Johnny Depp had.
Yeah, tell them Johnny Depp, a man, is a victim of domestic abuse. See if you can get a jury and a judge to believe it. That's as a woman, you should know you can't do that.
Yeah, see if anybody will believe you over me.
And it has nothing to do with the fact it was recorded. It's the fact that it was said. Because you should never say anything like that.
No.
It's
like, there's no case, like, whatsoever where you would see someone have that evidence pulled towards them, like, oh, well, that's hearsay, though. Like, I mean, it's what they've been saying. Yeah. It's what they've been saying. Everything is the whole entire case.
Everything Johnny Depp has
that they disagree with.
Yeah, if it doesn't help their case, hearsay.
Yeah, if
Which
it doesn't
I get,
help the case,
that's your job as a lawyer to represent this certain person. But right is right and wrong is wrong.
Yeah.
I really like the question about, well, you're a lot bigger in, like, figure than Amber Heard. No. I'm not, and she scoffed at it. Yeah, they're about the same size.
He's kind of a short man,
and he doesn't exercise like Joe Rogan said. I watched him talk about it.
He's unhealthy.
Yeah, some drugs, some alcohol. He's
lots of years of smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, he's not a in shape man. But sure, he can still have strength and stuff, but it's not like he's crazy over empowering in a sense.
No, he's the way I look at it. He's just trying to get what's rightfully, like, well, that's what the case is over anyways, is he's suing her for
defamation on his
defaming him with career. What she said, his entire career. He got fired from Pirates of the Caribbean. Fuck those guys, by the way. Like, they've fired a dude that has not done what they said that he did. She also had that she said was dumb and said that it was this specific
that makeup concealer.
Yeah, she had this makeup kit that's made for this, made for domestic abuse.
No.
And it is made for it, but they didn't start coming out with that product until 2017, a year after the allegations.
You would think, like, you would research those things before you just say them.
Yeah. You'd think that there'd be a little bit.
She's lied under oath like 8 times so far. And I haven't watched the last one that's out, but she's lied under oath like 8 times already.
Yeah.
Which is not a felony trial or whatever.
Yeah,
federal trial, but it is a federal crime to lie under oath.
Yeah.
So she could be looking at something after this.
She's just dumb. I say she's just dumb, but she has some form of a mental disorder. As far as as far as what a couple of news outlets I've seen have kind of come out and said that she's, like, and after that, what was it, 2.3 million people signed that.
Yeah, I think
that
they
petition.
Increased 200,000 in one day.
Yeah, in a day.
And then it just kept growing again and growing. It was
the
already
petition to get her removed from Aquaman.
And then you have Jason Momoa coming out and saying that he doesn't want to work with Amber Heard on set.
Yeah, and they'd already, like, she's only in the movie for like a total
10
of
minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
From what I've heard anyways.
But her character's not too important.
No.
It's really not. You could make a whole better movie. It's going to be good regardless.
All in all, yeah, you could make a way better movie. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Jason Momoa, and his portrayal of Aquaman is awesome.
It's wonderful.
But the first movie kind of sucked.
Yeah, there's a lot of CGI.
It was subpar. Like, it wasn't terrible. But I've liked Jason Momoa as an actor.
It looks great.
Yeah, his acting's on par.
Yeah, he understands the difference in showing emotion and being serious and how to portray him. It's a wonderful thing to see on screen.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people can do that.
Not a lot of people can take on such a role. Like, John Bernthal, for example, as a Punisher. Mm-hmm. He's by far my favorite Punisher. He's embodied the role. Like,
oh yeah, he totally took that to heart.
He kind of did the Joaquin Phoenix thing and, like, read up as much as he could on the character, and, like, he wanted to embody what he thought Frank Castle would be.
It's wonderful to see him on screen as the Punisher. He was great in The Walking Dead, but it wasn't like slip-ups or anything. It's all due to writing.
Yeah.
But the Punisher has such perfect writing for that character, and he understands that character.
I really hope that with the fact that they just moved all the Disney Plus, or all the things from the Netflix TV series.
Netflix series went to
like
Disney.
All the Marvel ones went from there to Disney Plus. Like, even the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
Like, that's one of my favorites that they brought over.
It will give them a bigger budget to work with, better use of everything.
I think that's the reason that they canceled all those TV series is, right around the same time, all those Marvel, they were like, oh, well, the contract's up, they're pulling it.
Right.
Like, we lost the rights to this.
It's a good thing, I think. I think it'll turn in our favor.
Yeah, I do too.
As a viewer. Definitely something to watch.
Yeah, it's a good series, and Disney has a lot of really good shows on there.
They really do. I mean, they even got like Home Alone and shit on there.
Yeah, they have old Disney movies.
Yeah, the
TV
classics.
Series.
I love
Classic
watching
stuff.
those.
I know that a lot of the shit that's watched nowadays, like, that's one of the reasons they say that, like, I've been hearing a lot that, like, Netflix might fail later on, like, pretty shortly. Like, that's why they keep raising their money. Like, over the last couple of years, they've raised the amount of money it is for a subscription.
And now they're talking about cutting off family sharing. You're not in the same household. You can't share passwords.
It's like, oh, well, goodbye, Netflix.
Yeah, why would...
Like, why do I have 4 people, a 4-person account?
Yeah. And
I can't share this with my child?
My child, my grandparents.
Like, we're all on the same account. That's what it's for.
Yeah, I paid for 4
That's why profiles. I have 4 profiles. I don't have 4 people in the house that need to watch it.
We'll be watching it together. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Like,
you're pushing.
Otherwise, remove it to the point of where each household only gets 1 account.
Yeah.
Unless somebody else gets a subscription in there, because that's how that shit works.
Or add in a password sharing.
That's one of the things that gets me about that is, like, you're doing that instead of, like, what many other services do. You start charging for some of your movies that you come out with. Like,
well, it's supposed to be ease of access.
Yeah, it's supposed to be ease of access, but that's why they're failing, in my opinion.
They are.
The only things that people watch on Netflix, like I said earlier, is nostalgia. Like, it's like one of the reasons that I love Disney Plus so much. And like you said, there's shit like Home Alone, older you know, like I love stuff from the '90s. I'm barely a '90s baby, but I still love.
Those were some of the best times in film.
I love things from a lot of different time periods. Like I remember when I was younger, I used to feel like I was like, oh, I have to have been like born 100 years too late.
Right.
And I remember thinking that up until a couple years ago.
I remember you would say that.
And it's like
quite often.
I mean, I feel that way still, but I don't feel like it's 100 years ago or 200 years ago. Like I don't feel like I was like born that late.
Supposed to live in the Midwest or the Wild West or anything.
No, I've kind of grown to the point of where I know that this is, you know, if you think about it, we're all dreaming throughout the day.
Oh yeah.
And these are all things that we kind of think about. It's like a lot of, you think about it. I was reading a lot of books from like older books, history books. Even in elementary school, I loved like stories on true things that happened in history.
Yeah, and they have those really nice
people's documentaries,
books and pictures here and there. But there was a detailed book, and it was biographical. I was so into those.
Yeah,
those little short books, however thick. They weren't long, but
and they didn't have a lot of pictures. There might be like
just
one picture every few pages.
I was really into those. Those were
me too.
Some of my favorites. I'd read up on everything, even bicyclists. Like I didn't care about people doing bicycling, but it was interesting.
Yeah,
I agree. From where they grew up and how and what they did. It's sweet.
Have I talked with you a lot on the book of the Four Agreements?
We just had the one conversation.
The one conversation about it. Well, that was that the angel and the demon on the shoulder. You know, like everybody has that little, you know, bad thought in their head and the good thought. For every bad thought, you have a good thought. You know, kind of thing.
Right.
And some people start listening more and more to that other side. You know, and they start making questionable decisions. Well, you know, if you think about it, and this book explains it a little bit, but you get this overwhelming sense from the statement of the angel and the demon. You know, it's portrayed in lots of cartoons, right. But essentially what I'm getting at is that that's your judge and your victim. It's the person who's humble versus the person who hates themselves and wants to just do, you know, unspeakable things all the time because they don't give a shit about themselves.
Yeah, everybody has one of those in them.
Yeah, everybody has that side, and it's whichever one you start listening to more.
There are different
that kind of overtakes your life.
Oh, yeah, but no, that's super true though. Like I told you what Mom said to me when I was young.
I'm not hitting on this thing enough. It keeps going out. What'd Mom say to you when you were young?
That, you know, you have these two voices, or, you know, something that'll tell you right and wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you choose the wrong one, you break that right one. And your brain starts understanding, okay, this is more acceptable. It's more acceptable every time that you do the wrong choice. And you know it's wrong. But before you know it, you're not in the wrong. To you, you're in the right. Like, oh, this is okay. I can do this.
In the moment, anyways.
Yeah, later you'll look back.
Some people will, anyways. Some people won't. Some people don't think about things afterwards.
They don't think about that moral compass.
I lay in bed every night thinking about the shit that, you know, made me feel bad throughout the day.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I was driving down the road. I thought about this, and it wasn't something necessarily that I thought to have on the podcast, but it was something that I wanted to remember. I seen this guy, and he was crossing the road, and he was jaywalking, and like by jaywalking, I also mean that he was like at a complete angle going, you know,
cutting street,
and as he was walking by, he looked around, and he made a look towards me, and I thought in my head, what is this stupid guy doing looking at me like that? Like I had no, like I was driving past like Augie's or something. I can't think of, you know, like I can't remember exactly everything, but I remember that he, when he turned around and started looking away, he was smiling as he was walking away. I thought it was funny because him smiling as he was walking away made me stop and think, okay, that was rude of me. Just to think about as I'm driving down the road, I had this thought about this guy with never knowing him, never,
instantly judged,
and I fucking I almost, I metaphorically slapped myself across the face.
Right.
Like, nope, that's not positive thinking, because that's all I've been about lately. Like, all I've been about as of recent is trying to think of positive things to either help my life or help other people's lives. And I feel like, especially now in my current mode, I have to put forth 55% and expect 45% back.
Sure.
And that's all I have to do. And that's not relationships necessarily. Like, that's like with me and you, that's how I feel, is as long as I'm giving back this much, I know that at some point it's not going to come back to me.
You're not going to get 50-50 on everything you do.
No, not on...
You do something nice, you're not going to always get that same thing in return.
Yeah.
But it needs to somewhat make up for it, in a sense.
Yeah, at some point. And at some point it will, whether it's...
From that person.
I'm thinking of it as, like, even if I was a boss in an industry, like, basically, this is how you would have to do it in order to... Like if you're a boss and you come at it from an empathetic, like, thinking, oh, well, instead of looking at your employee who's working like shit, being lazy, not listening to
slacking off.
Yeah, slacking off. You see this employee, like, understand that, like, instead of approaching that guy and being like, hey, get your ass to work, ask him, hey, is everything all right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's being lazy, or that's why he's not doing this particular thing. Or maybe that's also why he doesn't look like he's happy all the time.
Yeah, you should always look at it from an introspective kind of way.
Yeah,
what's going on in his life or her life?
Yeah, and you gotta think, that's what I was saying, is you gotta apply that same shit across the board, almost.
And I'm not saying just like, oh yeah, give them an easier time because things are going on. Everybody has things going on.
Yeah.
But you should still be understanding and thoughtful about things like that.
Yeah, even when, like, I have an outlook of, especially now, like, even if somebody's being a jerk to you, they're not being nice to you. You might just encounter them at the grocery store or the gas station.
Right.
Like, they're not being exactly on, completely. They're being honest with you. They're angry, and they're venting. Depending upon what's happening. Either way, they're projecting their feelings of what their emotions are feeling currently right now. Like, even if you said something that might have triggered them.
Sure.
Like,
that's very true.
You just said something that their whole tachometer was fucking way up there already, and you just happened to be the guy that walked up to them and said this, or asked this question in a funny way, and then they get frustrated with you.
I do it with you.
And they'd be they treat you like you're a moron, and they belittle you a little bit. Like,
yeah.
I've had encounters like that, but that's just because, sometimes you pop a joke at someone and then, like,
they're not in the mood for it.
Yeah.
It's just,
well, it's like they're,
feeling that.
There was one time I went to Winco, and I walked up to this lady, at the checkout, and as because you have to bag your own shit there.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there next to her, and she was talking about how little amount of groceries I was having to get. Like, I just had a bag, and I filled the one bag, and she made a comment, and I just happened to say something back to her, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was just something along, basically saying that she had a bunch of groceries. It was like, well, sorry, I don't, have enough money to spend on 2 cartloads of groceries or some shit like that. I was being honest because I was over projecting how I felt.
Yeah.
And I felt bad about that later too. Like, those are stupid things that you don't have to think about it, because you can't ever, like, go find that person and apologize.
Yeah, right. I don't like the whole of judging people, like when you go in their house and they have a couch, coffee table, and a TV. It's like,
yeah.
Well, where are your pictures and your end tables?
This and that.
It's like, you don't need it if you don't use it.
Well, for me, for the most part, like, I love pictures. Someday when I can afford to,
things are nice.
Someday when I can afford to, I'll have posters and pictures all over my fucking wall.
Like my room, it's decked out.
Because I don't want to just buy a poster. I want to fucking, you know.
You want something you like.
Something I like. I want to figure out my own poster. But like that's what I'm saying is like shit like that. It kind of blows up sometimes.
I don't need to spend $20 or $15, $20 on live, laugh, and love signs all around my house because I live, laugh, and love every day. I don't need reminders for that.
Well, for now, I'm good with looking through my photos on my phone, but...
Right, but it would be nice to hang some art up, and, like, that's cool. But if you don't have it, it's not yours. You shouldn't care that much, because you don't care.
I was more sentimental about that kind of stuff when I had a girlfriend.
Right.
But, like, I don't necessarily care about pictures.
I mean,
I love pictures. I'll go through all my pictures.
It can make your home a little more livelier, you know, homey.
Yeah. Currently, I'm not looking for having a homey home and where I live.
Right.
Like, I don't want to build this place up too much. Like,
just a couple.
I feel like it's all stuff that I'm gonna have to put in a box someday because, you know, just the fact of where I live.
I know I have too much stuff because it doesn't all fit in my room.
Yeah.
And that should include your car. If it can't fit your car and everything else, then you might have too much stuff.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like, you know, right now I'd have at least 2 of those fucking U-Haul vans. I'd have at least 2 of those full, you know, make 2 trips. I'm going to downsize on this shit. Make it so I don't have that much stuff to get rid of.
Well, I know, because you move into a place and everyone just gives you shit. It's like, cool, I don't want this, but you could use
I'm not going to need this, I'm not going to need this.
Like,
half of that shit's sitting in my shed and I'm going to barely use it. I might...
Mom brings it over to the porch and then, oh yeah, it's been sitting on your porch for 2.5 months. Yeah, I know, Mom, I didn't want it in the first place. Take it back, give it back later. Like, sometimes maybe just don't give as much when someone gets a new house. Give the necessities.
But do you have a toaster? Oh no, I don't have a toaster. Like that's the type of shit that I need. Other than that,
I don't want this picture. Do you want it? Like, not really.
Yeah, or like that. Don't get me wrong, I love having it, but that fucking pancake thing that Grandma gave me.
Oh yeah.
It's a fucking pot. You put pancakes in, you put a lid on it, and it has little holes in it.
Little crate maker.
Yeah, well, it's not for making them. Once you made it, you put it in there, and then you have a stack of them. They're like this big, and they stay
steam out.
Yeah, they stay. Nice. Yeah, it's nice, but
we never use it.
I have no reason to. I don't eat pancakes all that much. That's something I have like maybe once every couple months.
Grandma was asking me about my diet, and I was like, well, I just eat food. I don't have a diet. And she's like, well, what you eat is your diet. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true. But my diet's better when Sam's around because he actually watches what he eats. And
I eat vegetable. I strictly, at this point, like, maybe, once a week, I eat something like fucking... Well, I guess twice a week because I eat top ramen about once a week. But fucking twice a week, I guess, I eat some form of either pasta or like French bread, something like that. Those are my carbs. But like, so I basically have 2 days and then 2 days of not eating and then a day of eating and then 2 days of, with bread and pasta anyways. I try to stay away from that stuff.
Right.
Meats and vegetables are where it's at, and that's how I lost a bunch of weight recently.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to get sandwich meat because it's easy. You just make a sandwich. But I figured I'll get a nice little slab of ham, fry it up, make a sandwich out of that.
Yeah.
It's got to be a little better for me.
That's another thing, though, for anybody that wants to lose weight. Don't eat sandwiches.
Definitely don't.
Like Subway... Like, if you pick the right bread anyways, you can do that.
And less condiments.
I'm still not promoting Subway, just in a matter of fact of the Subway guy. Ryan?
Jerry?
No. I think his name was Ryan or Jared. Something like that.
Jared.
Yeah, Jared.
It had to be Jared, because Chris Webby had him, didn't have him, but mentioned him in a song.
It had something to do with, like...
kid porn on his phone.
Yeah, little girls of some sort. Fucking piece of shit.
Terrible.
Like I said, I'm not like telling you to go eat at Subway. I'm just saying
We're telling you don't eat sandwiches.
You can't lose weight. Yeah, you can't lose weight eating sandwiches.
But if you happen to be like me, then eat as many sandwiches, quesadillas, all the fun stuff you want.
Yeah, you can't gain weight.
It's, everyone thinks that it must be so easy, but when you're in this circumstance, you want to gain weight.
Yeah.
You want to, build something and show that you're growing.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot from running. If I don't get enough, like, either meat or some form of, like, good protein, not nuts, by the way, those don't help with working out, apparently.
Probably not.
No, they have lots of fats in them. I found that out because I was eating lots of cashews.
Like, I remember your cashew phase.
Like, not a lot of them. I'd eat, like, a handful or two a day.
Which is
like,
a lot.
Yeah, Mariah, she used to put, like, a crap ton of fucking cashews in a bag in my lunch. And, like, I would eat, like, when she'd do that, sometimes I'd eat the whole bag, like, there towards the end. So I was like, oh, they're towards the end of me eating cashews anyways. I haven't eaten very many of those since I read that fucking article. Yeah, explaining that the fats and the nuts, they're like, they kind of counteract all of your working out. So you're working out, but you're not losing any of the fat. So, like, no matter what, you're building muscle, but you're not, like, none of that, like, food that you're eating is going towards building the muscle.
Right. It's just kind of
like
proteins and...
Yeah, like, that's what I read anyways. I know that it's not necessarily exactly fully true. Like, I know nuts are healthy for you. I'm just saying that was one thing that I read, and it's kind of always stayed in the back of my mind. I still eat nuts. I just don't fucking eat them the same way I used to.
But when you see people like, I'm going to go on a diet, so I'm going to start eating salads. But then they pour half a mountain of ranch on there. And that's not healthy. You're supposed to minimalize the ranch.
It's like...
And it makes the salad taste better.
Yeah.
If you're eating a salad because it tastes like ranch, you might as well just start drinking ranch. There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I personally love a nice vinaigrette on my salad.
Is that like the vinegar oil combo thing?
Vinegar and oil, like something.
That's
I think
my
it's
favorite.
Olive oil. And
when I go to restaurants,
I think there's some seasonings in it. I've never personally made it myself.
Oregano for looks, and you can put I can't remember.
Yeah.
But different little.
There's some sort of something to decorate the.
Which everybody likes a pretty plate. Just ask Gordon Ramsay. Yeah. It's all about presentation. Which gets into those picky food eaters. Oh, I can't touch that.
I'm not a picky food eater by the way it looks. I have to taste test before I decide that I don't want it.
There are some things that I'll see and I'm like, I do not want to try that.
Yeah. It smells scary.
When we were at Winco last time we both went together, there was that octopus there. I was going to buy it, but then my brain told me, oh, you don't know how to cook an octopus, and I'm not going to follow Google recipes to cook an octopus. Typically, I like somebody else's recipe that I know.
That's awesome.
I'll base it off. But I was going to buy that octopus.
You thought about buying an octopus?
I talked to the dude. I talked to him, and he's all, yeah. I was like, how much for the octopus? He's like, oh, it's $47, blah, blah, blah. I'm all, oh, that's not bad at all. I was going to buy that octopus to take it home. And then... after I thought about I don't know how to cook it, what really set that in mind, because I would have followed Google probably, but I remember reading different posts and stuff about how people would get octopus eggs in their throat, and little baby octopuses would hatch and start choking them and shit, and I did not want that to happen if I unprepared it right, so I just said no to the octopus. I'll learn first and buy later. I can always have an octopus, but now might not be the time.
This is a dead octopus that you were talking about.
Yep. Gabe, when I told him about it, he thought that they had a pet octopus.
I'm sure.
It was, Gabe, they don't sell pets at Winco. That's the most fucked up thing I've ever heard. It's like this thing was dead and it's ready to eat.
That's why you go buy a live lobster. Lobsters.
I know, but I remember you
otherwise
saying, like,
processed properly and frozen.
You're like, I would buy a lobster, but I don't know if I know how to cook it. I'm like, pretty sure you just boil those things until they're screaming red. But you don't want to drop a dead lobster into a tank unless it's frozen. I'm just pretty sure. I think you want live ones.
You have to have a full live one if you're gonna do that way. Otherwise, like, you don't want to trust that somebody else did it all for you and frozen.
Yeah,
like,
I know that like crab.
I've seen them in places like that, but that's fucking scary. It's probably it's probably parboiled and then frozen. flash frozen, something like that. I don't know.
Crab pinchers, they pull them out of the cages, break the arm off, and toss them back in the water.
Some of them. Some crabs you do that with.
Yeah, unless you.
I think the giant.
There's a certain size
crabs or whatever.
They're too small and they're too big.
Yeah, I've heard of people. I think it was Chris and Kinsey that told us about that, right?
I actually saw it on one of those, that deep sea fisher guy who he goes to the lowest rated fishermen.
Oh,
I was watching him and they did it there. But yeah, I guess there's a certain size you can take. Too small, too big, can't take them. But when they're in the right, you break them off, throw them back in, and you put a chip in them or mark them or something. I think you mark it. You put a little etch in the shell.
Oh, to show that it was taken from this year already.
Show that somebody's already harvested an arm. So, be generous about it. Don't just be greedy. It's growing back its other arm. Because they do regenerate claws, which is really cool to think about.
But I think they do the one claw thing so that it's still has something to defend itself.
Still defend itself. You can't take both claws.
Because they don't want them to, if they were to do that,
you can't die them out.
Yeah, you can't make them die out.
It's really cool. I love any animal that can regenerate a part of its body.
Yeah, it's funny you say that after watching Iron Man 3.
Yeah, but that's a good point.
But yeah, like animals, it's kind of weird to me that people get so, I guess, held up on, like, animals going extinct. Like, I'm not saying that I look forward to any animals going extinct.
Explain it.
I'm just saying that it kind of baffles me that people have such sentimentality.
Well, we're all human. We care.
Yeah, we care.
Not everyone does.
We care. I'm just saying that's the empathy part of it, like part of life, anyways. That's like we think of how many animals prior to what we have now today in current topographical evolution of the entire world, basically. All the animals have changed many times.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if there weren't cats and dogs and other creatures that we know of normally today.
Like hamsters.
And, like, there might have been white-tailed deer, but from records there was also many other creatures that roamed the Northwest.
Yeah.
All the dinosaurs that were found in frickin' Montana.
There was a lot of bones found there.
And the mammoths weren't around. Those went extinct. We weren't around to save them, though.
No, we weren't. But also,
But that's what I'm saying, though, Si, is
it's a bad concept for a living organism.
Yeah.
They're huge, clunky creatures. Sure, they have huge tusks to defend themselves in the front, but from behind, how long does it take them to turn around?
Yeah, or like, what's that, the murder bird.
Oh.
Is a giant fucking, I think they call it terror bird, or there's another name for it too.
Huge, way bigger
and it was
than
like
an eagle.
It was like an 8 to 10 foot tall bird. I think it was like 8 foot tall. But it's like an 8 foot tall bird.
Galante talked about
it was like an 8 foot tall bird. Yeah, Forrest Galante, he mentioned that, I think, on Joe Rogan Experience.
He's awesome.
But yeah, that bird's head is like 2 feet long or 3 feet long or something like that. I think it's like 3 feet.
It's almost scary when you think about it.
That's a big fucking bird.
It's like, oh, yep, there goes my dog again.
Yeah.
Time to get a new one.
Damn, that giant murder bird took my dog.
What happened to my little girl?
Yeah.
Susie, are you out there?
These are all just creatures that we're really glad don't exist now.
But they also probably couldn't exist in today's world.
No.
You have dumb hicks
but there's creatures
riding around in the back of
now that
trucks with guns shooting random birds out of the sky.
Yeah, there's creatures now that shouldn't exist, though.
That's true.
Like all of our modern bears that we have now, like most of them, their bloodline leads back to those fucking giant fucking bears way back when.
I'm never gonna forget how me and Elijah messed up
in the Ice Age.
Both of us could have shot it, but both of us were not paying attention. It's just your typical day on a hunt, sitting on a log, taking a break. Dustin, bear. I just lit a cigarette. My hands were in my day pack. I'm like, I put it out on my tongue, grabbed my gun. I went down the right side, Elijah goes left. Couldn't get a line on to save my life, but if I wasn't smoking a cigarette and looking for something in my day pack, I probably could have. Probably would have been right there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I ran into when I got to the road last year, and all those elk started running across the hill.
The best part about it was that you and Gabe ended up seeing that same bear because we chased it from our ridge to yours.
When we were all on that hunt,
we were chasing it to shoot the damn thing, and you guys were like, oh, we watched it take a crap, and we kept hunting. We were looking for elk. That was so funny when we all met up together and we were talking about that. Me and Elijah we were ready for it. Whoever takes the bullet.
Yep, get the bear.
Get the bear. That's the difference in communication. We wanted it. You guys didn't care. It was just cool to see a bear.
Yeah, we've seen it. We're both looking at it through our scope, and Gabe got binoculars or something. It was like, oh yeah, cool, it's a bear. I was like, Gabe, here, you can take my gun because I have, high magnification.
Yeah, your scope's a lot better than mine.
Yeah, you got like a 4 power on there?
Yeah, 4 power.
Yeah. Mine goes up to 12, so I'm like able to zoom in.
I know.
Really
every time
well
Dustin or Grandpa hands me their gun, it's like, ooh, this is nice.
Yeah, they have way nicer scopes than I have.
Their scopes are god tier.
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, and Grandpa's gun is so lightweight.
Lucky and hard-working motherfuckers.
I mean, it's a big caliber, but it's a lightweight gun.
Yeah. Grandpa's. Yeah, and it'll kick your fucking arm right off.
Right? You don't expect that punch from it.
Yeah, it's a 300 Ultra Mag with a light. It's basically the lightest fucking version of it you can get.
Yeah, I have a wood stock on mine. My gun's heavy. It's just a 308. The bullet don't kick much, but
yours is not 6 though, is it?
6, yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're probably
shooting
thinking
the 308.
Yeah.
That I always took. That gun was always good.
Yeah, it was always accurate.
Except for when I was shooting that mule deer.
Yeah. That's a fun story.
That was a beautiful time. Hey, we tracked it for a long time.
I know.
It sucks losing it.
It always makes you feel real bad.
And we went back
the
next day.
You have like mourning over this animal that you never even got to see other than when you were shooting at it.
You brought it up earlier and I wanted to touch on it. It is sad when you take an animal's life, but to me, the easiest way that you can, the one shot instant kill.
Yep.
I always go for those.
That's what I try to make it as well.
And if I get to it and it's still breathing, make it as quick as possible.
Yep.
There's no time to.
Well, that's why I always aim for the spot that's this big.
My last
fucking heart, lungs,
3 or 4 deers, I've hit heart. I'm mad because I like to eat the heart and I always shoot them. But it's my safe zone on where I want to shoot my deer. I'm comfortable when I take my shot. I don't just sporadically shoot.
I think I've done that to 3 of mine where their heart imploded.
I would honestly rather shoot it in the heart than in the neck because I like stew meat.
Yeah, I don't worry about stew meat. If I'm within.
If it was a shot I had to take,
if I'm within 40 yards and I don't have a good if like I'm gonna hit its back, then I'm going for its like neck, like I know about 6 inches below its head.
And that deer on the driveway, you were surprised that I hit it in the heart because we couldn't see its body. I shot the bushes and.
Oh yeah. You dropped it.
But I watched it. I saw where its neck was going. I had an idea of its body outline because I'd seen it prior to that, and I didn't want to take that next shot, so I didn't. And you were gutting it for me because I didn't remember.
Yeah, you hit it right in the fucking back.
Right in the
right below its back. Anyways,
right through the heart.
Oh,
the
that
one behind the bush. Not my first deer.
Yeah, not your first deer.
Yep, it was like my 3rd deer. But yeah, I shot it through the bush, and you were helping me get into the back part of the gutting where you
cut around its anus.
No. I did that.
Oh, the diaphragm.
The diaphragm. You got in there, and you were showing me how.
I was like, oh yeah, you got to go all the way to its spine,
and
all the way to its spine.
Because you were gonna take the heart out, and you're like, I can't find the heart, and you pulled out some bloody
little
chunks of meat, and you're like, that's the heart side. I'm like, Jesus. I didn't think I hit that. I was expecting like a lung shot or something.
Yeah.
But since then, I had the deer before that was a heart shot, and the deer after that was a heart shot. And The one with the apple tree was cool because it was on its hind legs.
Oh yeah, that was probably my favorite time of hunting with you, actually.
You proud of me right there?
Oh yeah, that was like, you kind of quick scoped that bitch.
No, not that one, because that's the one that you told me not to use my rest right there.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The
one I'm thinking of is we were on the driveway. We were on Grandma and Grandpa's driveway.
Yeah, I quick scoped that one. That was the one through the brush.
Yeah, you literally
because I was holding my scope.
You raised up your gun and fired.
Because I looked through my scope and then I handed the gun to you and I said, "Should I take this?" And you said, "Yeah, fucking give it." You gave it back really fast.
Yeah.
Because it hadn't moved yet.
Yeah.
So I knew kind of where I needed to. But yeah, the one where I shot it out of the apple tree, you told me don't rest right there. Don't use your elbows. Use the
edge of the fucking road.
Yeah, and that was a beautiful shot. Clean.
Yeah,
no pain.
That was a really fun hunting experience. That was the one that was eaten out of the fucking apple tree.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember.
I was just glad it died happy.
Yeah,
I hadn't seen an animal.
It died while it was eating.
Now, how much happier can you get? That was awesome. That was probably my favorite hunt. No, not my favorite hunting experience with you. It was when you first took me up Moccasin. That was my most favorite time.
Yeah, that was.
Because you were telling me all these stories.
That was when we met Grandpa up there, and he fucking built
the fire pit.
Yeah, he built a fire at the fire. Well, we were about 1/8 of a mile this way. Well, I say this way, it'd be like this way.
I was too young to elk hunt. I had a 22.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, we were both freezing our asses off.
You know, and I felt bad, like, looking back now.
There was 6 inches of snow in parts of the fucking hill, but a lot of it was melted off. But
looking back on it now, I was a baby. Like, Grandpa, can you build me a fire?
Yeah.
But
That's okay.
He did it.
I remember my days.
Yeah, because I'm sure, because you went up there multiple times before I had.
Yeah, there was one time I was hunting with Uncle Alan, and I love Uncle Alan, but he was really mean to me. Like, he was mean to me. But we were hunting some really tough areas, and I was complaining about having to crawl over giant logs. But I was fucking like 8, or I was 9 or 10. Like, it was right in that era. It was like the year after, or the next year after my fucking first year going up. So I might have been there. This might have been my 2nd or 3rd year of being at hunting camp, and it was like really fucking tiring. But doing that shit as a kid, it made it come easier as an adult.
Yeah, well,
because you got through all the fucking, you got through most of your head game.
Yeah,
that was a frustration.
And that's all it is. You're trying to talk yourself out of it the whole time you're doing it when you don't understand why you're doing it. In a sense, it seems like, oh yeah, this would be really fun, but it's hard work, and you have to get past that.
Yeah, it is really hard work. That's for sure. I think certain people underestimate how much you have to hike around just to see elk sometimes.
Yeah.
But then there's those wonderful Californians we know in Dixie that happen to shoot elk, like, you know, within 100 yards of the road every year.
And I appreciate that, because they're not using outfitters.
No, they're fucking old.
They're wonderful
and
people.
they road hunt, and then they get out. You know, they get out, and I'm sure I've never witnessed them shooting anything.
Chance of luck and knowing the game. Yeah. That's how it is. Kind of like Dustin. He was leaving or coming into hunting camp late at night, speeding like he normally wouldn't. Elk were in the road, but when he's driving like you should, and you don't see a thing.
Yeah.
Not a deer. It's
no, when you're in a hurry. That's especially when they're gonna cross the road. Or like when I made it back to the road last year, like with the story I was getting on earlier about the fucking elk running up the hill.
Yeah.
And I followed them up the hill, and then I made it to the road, and I'm like looking around, like, what the fuck? Where'd they go? They took a left. Like I couldn't, like I didn't want to go over to the next ridge, but it looked like they were totally. It was within 100 yards of the road, but it looked like those elk. I was following like 3 of them. Well, now all of a sudden there's fucking 6 or 8 of them up on the hill, and as soon as I get up there and I see them, I hear a rig coming. And it's Dustin and Jennifer. It was fine though. Like there was no.
You can't get upset. I got a little upset when, not this last year, but the year before that.
Oh yeah,
First
when you
day
almost got
camp, Grandpa mentioned the fishermen had went down today. And I was, oh, that's cool. Good for them. Didn't think much of it. Went on a nice little walk down the road and hit Indian Creek. There's a nice log. I'm going to smoke a cigarette, take a break. Smoking a cigarette and start hearing the branches break and all that. And cow, there's another cow, there's a bull. Right when I saw the bull, I heard the engines. Fishermen coming by holding their fish up. I'm like, oh. I wanted to flip them off.
Guys. That's nice.
I wanted to flip them off so bad, but I smiled and I waved. It's a part of the trade.
Yeah, it's all part of the whole experience of being out there where you hunt where other people are.
You don't get it easy. First day, whatever.
What you get for hunting on public land.
Yep.
Really.
Also, you gotta
love and appreciate
tradition.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I like hunting up there. It's fun.
Sure, there might be better spots to do it, but it's a thing for us. It's an ordeal.
It's a fun trip, but that's only because our elders are really nice and have money, so they're
teaching us how to do this with our kids.
Well, yeah, and they want to make it so that we make it better.
Yeah,
because that's always improved. That's what they've done is they've their dad slowly improved the camp, and now it's Grandpa and his brothers slowly improved the camp, and now it's gonna end up having to be us.
Yeah, we're gonna have to help Dustin with this.
Yeah, because it's
Dustin's game now.
It's already really fun.
I've always had
a great experience.
I went back up my second week when they offered me at the wedding. It was all, oh yeah, I'll go. Not a problem. I would love to. And I ended up packing up camp with them and rolling out. Tried to scare Rick. That didn't work.
Yeah, and he's not...
It's because of Dustin.
He's not easy to scare, though.
Well, it was because of Dustin. He kept chirping off, oh, well, I saw some sparks rolling out of your tent. You might want to check that. And then another thing about his tent, another thing about his tent. I'm just sitting in his sheepskin chair. Had one leg crossed like this, coat on, hat on. I was just waiting for Rick to walk through the door, and right when he did, I'm all, hey, Ricky. And he's all, Pony Boy!
Yeah, he was overexcited.
He's all, you came back. And I was all, I told you I would. And he's all, your tooth doing better? I was all, oh, it's doing way better. That's the one thing you can't deal with up there is tooth pain.
Yeah.
Because the climate, and then you have your altitude, and you're dropping down and up, and...
Yeah, it changes your bowel pattern, and...
Mm-hmm. Makes you irritable, and you can't be irritable up there. Nobody wants a bad
makes
vibe.
It harder for me to hear anyways, because my ears start to close up at certain altitudes.
Oh, I was really worried when you took us down most of the way to the river. I was like, oh, I hope nothing happens to the truck, because this road is way worse than I thought it would ever.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'd never been that far before.
Oh, that far down towards the...
And then we had guys on Jeeps passing us, and it was like, oh, man.
It is.
And I'm glad you were like, we turning around that cool? I was like, please.
It's really hard driving over these fucking rocks, like a half a foot in size.
I felt bad, but for Gabe, that was cool.
Yeah, it was a good experience. I wanted to. That's what that fucking place is for.
Yeah.
It's for experiences.
That's totally true.
That's why you take a week at minimum to go up there and spend some time up there.
I had a fun time going out to Cove with you.
Yeah, Cove's a wonderful spot.
I'd never been out there.
I had a great time going out there with Shane.
I bet, because you talked about it a lot when we were sitting on that log. Oh, this is the same log me and Shane sat on.
Hey, there's beer
there's Shane's beer can. Fucking dick.
Hey, we threw it away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I always pack out.
Yeah, if I find them, I pack them out.
That's the way to do it.
I found them when I was you go over to grab a certain couple pieces of wood for a fire, and you find one hidden under those fucking sticks. It's like, what the fuck? You hit it really well, but I'm building a fire.
Yep. I mean,
I guess I gotta throw away another beer can.
I know, I always come back my day pack, got a couple of drinks in there, got my lunch, whatever, extra bullets and ribbon, whatever, and on my way back, I got an old 1870s Sprite can, whatever. It's all super old. You can barely tell what it is. Who was drinking a Diet Dr. Pepper and decided, oh, I'm gonna chuck this?
Yeah. Like Jesus, you apparently have a backpack because of the fact that you brought the soda here. Just put it in your backpack.
Yeah. Just remember when you're going to crawl under a tree and there's some open cans back there and they'll make a sound.
Not always, but I try my best to fucking pick up beer cans when I'm cruising back roads. I almost find it a necessity to like, oh, beer can, soda can, just pick up the fucking trash. Like, do it. Like, you don't have to do it.
I'm not saying you gotta stop your vehicle, jump off the side of the hill and grab that beer can.
I've done that as like fun experiences for other people. Like, but I will, like, if I'm at like a pullout or anywhere and I see trash, I'm picking it up.
Yeah, throw it in the back of the truck.
Do a little piece, anyways. You know.
And sure, you don't know what they were going through in the moment. Maybe they really had to get rid of that.
Yeah, once a year, like, you should probably go out and fucking pick up some trash on an eighth of a mile of road. That's it.
Either that
it'd take you 15, 20 minutes.
Get the cigarettes out of your driveway or something.
Yeah, something.
Cigarette butts laying in the dirt. Do something.
Yeah, people don't want to do shit though, Si.
They don't.
People are lazy. Well, I've been there.
It was like you said earlier, like, you know, don't have to fucking help me. Like, Grandpa was gonna help me all weekend. You took your time on your weekend.
Yeah.
You did it, and you're like, oh no, it makes me feel better. You feel accomplished. It makes you...
You get shit done.
Yeah.
Like, okay, your belt needs put on. We'll put your belt on. All right, well, your oil needs changed. I'll find some time.
And, yeah, like, you didn't have me do everything, but you showed me what the fuck I needed to do.
Yeah.
So now next time, I'm going to be the guy doing all that shit.
Yeah,
you'll be the guy watching me.
It'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah, like, you'll be the guy watching me. And
the first time I've ever had to put a serpentine belt on. So.
Yeah, and Grandpa looked at it. He said it looked great.
I just had to figure it out.
Yeah, we were going on the wrong. We were going for the alternator thing because it's smaller.
Yeah.
But no, that's not the way to do it.
Well, we couldn't roll that pulley, so.
Yeah. We were talking about how we couldn't put the wrench down and move the pulley because it was in the way. So clearly there's another way to do this, and the way we ended up going was the correct way.
Well, and that's one of those funny things is a lot of people aren't they aren't ingenuitive, and they aren't like, okay, well, I can't do it the way my boss told me to do it, so now or whoever taught me how to do it before, I can't do it that way. Figure a fucking way out. It's like your oil filter, for example, as well as that.
Yeah.
That's in a real shit spot. The filter wrench that I chose, but the filter wrench that I chose to try to use was in a bad.
It worked great.
It's too fucking long to try to put it up there. Yeah, it worked great on anything that's straight down. Like, that's how I use them anyways.
Yeah.
Use that particular one. So it's like, okay, well, now we have to figure out a different way. So I tried the fucking screwdriver fucking just squished right through the metal. I'm like, oh, yep, cheap Fram filter, got it.
And you're like, oh, I hate these, but it was easier than anything.
Yeah.
It really was.
It's my least, the filter wrench that we ended up using is my least favorite style to use.
Yeah.
I fucking hate those. They're just uncomfortable and awkward, but
it worked.
It got the job done because it had some shit to bite on.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's all it needs.
Okay, now that we're back from our pee break.
Yes, sir.
You said you had a question about my job?
Yeah.
Or questions?
You've been doing different stuff throughout the week. But, like, you're going to end up doing fire-related stuff. Stop preventing, digging, what are those little ditches
Digging
called?
Fire lines?
Yeah, fire lines. Digging fire lines.
Stuff like that.
Get into that. And
burning slash piles in the fall.
Yeah, you were talking about burning the pile, but you can't because it's too wet. So, I was just curious, do they have other plans of doing, do you have multiple options on what you can and can't do within that?
Within, like, what? Like, what I can and can't do, like, as
not
in, like, promotions, or, like...
but, like, within the job of, is there other slash piles to burn, and do you have, or is it just, like, the old logging roads that are cleaned up?
So, like, seeding, when you're seeding, you're going over the road and throwing grass seed down on a newly made, like, logging road.
Right, kind of bringing
or,
it
like,
back
potlatch road, or whatever the fuck it is. Like,
covering up the... I don't know what to call it necessarily, but the used-in roads, covering them up, making it back into national forests or whatever it is.
Kind of, sort of. Like, they're making it, like, so when you go through, like when they go through and log, like, they'll log off a large portion of property.
Hillside or, yeah.
Yeah, a large portion of property, many acres. Well, you have to go through, and after they've already done their logging there at that place, the specific place, you go through and you burn all the old slash that's there. Like, you burn all the sticks and twigs and
bark and
pretty much everything that's there. You're burning all that that's left over from where they sawed down all the trees. But you do this because they're going to go through and they're going to plant new trees to grow back and take for regrowing.
Yeah, that's kind of what my question.
It might take like anywhere from, I think it takes like 35 to 45 years, somewhere in that range, before they log it again.
And they have regulations where they can't just go back and.
But that's a lot of timber, and that's a lot. It's a large places that they're doing this. Many, like where I work, we're protecting just under 1 million acres. It's like 960 or some shit thousand. I know
there's a lot
acres.
of backlash on logging and stop logging, blah blah blah. But at the same time, everything that you use is based upon it.
Well, yeah, they repopulate.
And you're regrowing it. You're not just taking it all out and leaving it the hash barren land.
I will say, hemp would probably be a much better product to grow in place of, like, everyone's like like, we're gonna run out of oxygen. Like I say, it's a conspiracy theory that at some point we're gonna run out of oxygen or run out of water. Like, we're not gonna run out of water if we learn how to filtrate salt water, which we already know how to do, but they just need to figure out how to do it on a mass scale. It's like we have technologies, so we have to improve on the technologies we already have.
Yeah, we have some of the greatest, but you can only improve.
Yeah, you improve, and like that's one of the things too. Is like, well, how can you improve on a water-powered car when they shut that shit like that down all the time?
Yeah,
new things that are incorporating in a way of doing it in a different way. Well, they do that with like movie producers. Will talk shit on another movie producer because they don't want him getting up to the status of them.
Right.
It's a jealousy thing in that case, anyways. But in other cases, like what we were talking about there, it's like they're just doing that so that,
Well, most people stating it, they're not even involved in the lumber world.
Yeah, they're doing it. A lot of companies, like when they shut down the dude that made the car that runs on water. When they shut that shit down, like, it was a car company. I can't remember which car company exactly, but a car company bought the dude's patent and then shelved it. Oh, yep, we don't need this. It's not going to make us money.
Yeah, it's
like we want to keep using we want to keep using a gas powered engine.
It's a threat to electrical and gas powered vehicles.
Yeah,
which is the nice thing about electrical vehicles. You can't stop that if you wanted to. It's within everybody's right to use a battery and do what they please.
I will say it frustrates me a little bit when people say that they think that everybody could have an electric car.
That is not true.
Just think about it. In the state of Idaho alone, from the amount that it takes to charge an electric car every day. Like, so you're going to charge it and get it charged up to the point where you can drive it full max power, some people are going to be driving more, some people are going to be driving less, some people are going to be using more electricity, some people are going to be using less. No matter what, if every single fucking person has an electric car, we don't have the power to fucking charge all of these fucking electric cars.
Well, and then you got to consider, how do you get your food? Farmers. And
we already
be able to do this for tractors and.
Yeah, we already have like kind of a struggle of figuring out how to make it so that we have more power. Like I'm more sustainable electricity.
But you can't do that on an economic scale. It wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
You have to think.
We're behind our times for what they want to do.
Yeah, everyone's thinking 10 years in the future, 10 years there.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so this can happen within 10 years, but that also includes this, this could happen as long as these two things also happen within those 10 years.
I think these bigger companies need to start hiring people that are also in the now. Yes, it's good to have future seekers, but it's also important to know what's in the now.
Where we are right now, not just where we're going to be in 10 years. Like, that's what those.
If we do this in if we do this right now in 6 months, screw that. How can we improve right now? We need more of that, and there's a whole drive for it.
Yeah, and same with people. I can say I went many years without having very much drive to do anything.
Right.
And I don't mean necessarily do anything. I like doing things. But it's a matter of, like, you let anxiety and depression and struggling with your inner fucking self, you have hatred towards yourself, like, those things aren't fucking great for you.
No, self-hatred is one of the most common.
But that's what I'm saying, is that's what a lot of those fucking people, you know, I'm just saying that out of the hundreds of people that represent the United States, you know, hundreds of thousands of people.
Right.
Overall, when you talk about government employees as well, like just strictly government employees, it's like, I don't understand how, you know, we don't see more mental breaks in those people.
I remember
just because it's a really hard job.
Right, stressful. It's constant. It's like being a lawyer in a sense.
Yeah, you see more
of the... You receive a call, you have to take it, and you can't cut out at any time because you have your own personal shit going on.
They see probably some of the most, like, kind of fucked up shit. Like, they receive most of the bad news as to what's going on actually in the country that the everyday citizen is not gonna fucking know.
I'm hoping that more people, you know, treat the janitor like you treat the CEO.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that, you know, he's just a janitor. No, he's helping this place be this place.
Yeah, he's keeping it clean.
He's keeping it clean. Oh, well, he's just a janitor. He makes more than a teacher does.
In a lot of cases.
Like, everyone has this assumption teachers make great money. They don't. The educational fund is terrible in this country.
They make... I guess I should say in the state of Idaho, an elementary school teacher might make like $40,000 a year, maybe, if that.
Which, yeah, $7.25 minimum wage, but that shouldn't be the basis.
Well, that's not thinking. Even. They're making more than minimum wage.
Exactly.
Making minimum wage, you'd make like $27,000 a year in the state of Idaho, somewhere in there. Maybe 20. I might be thinking before taxes too. I could be wrong.
I always treated, I mean, kind of weird to say, but I treated the custodian back in high school better than I ever treated the principal. So I didn't care as much, like, oh yeah, you do what you want to, Mr. Principal guy, you call the shots here. But the janitor was always a super nice, you could chat down and visit and get some understanding from him.
Yeah, you get some, and that's one of those things that people don't fucking like to do with other people necessarily. They don't like to even say hi to some random stranger as they're walking down the road. But that's also has to do with depending upon what city you live in and how close is your community.
I liked how Joe Rogan brought up on his podcast that people in Texas, you know, all of them are, hey, how you doing? But in California, he didn't get that.
Yeah.
But like here, that's how it is. Everybody, you say, hi, how you doing? Hold the door open for regardless if they're young or old.
As long as you're nice to people, you could walk through a bar that you've never been in and be, you know, the cool guy.
Yeah, probably get a couple drinks
for 5 minutes. Yeah.
Like, oh, that guy was super sweet. Just send a drink over there.
And I just say that the cool guy, as in, like, a lot of people fucking communicate with you, as long as you communicate with them, and you also have a, like, I don't know, I try to always give off a decent aura. Like, I say aura, but everybody gives off their personal energy field.
I was super nice to a dude in Subway one time, one guy making my sandwich, and just visiting with him while he was making my sandwich, and I told him what I wanted and gave him a decent tip afterwards, and since then I get free cheese from him. Every time I want extra cheese, I don't have to pay for it. Yeah,
that's how it works. As long as you're, you know.
He's like, oh, you like the extra cheese, right? He's like, I got you. And it's never on my receipt. It's never there. It's free. Like, yeah, it's just free cheese, 50 cents or whatever. Yeah, but it's an act of kindness. And I love that. I love to see that from people. And just being nice to somebody for 5 seconds out of your day. It doesn't take a lot.
No.
You can be an asshole all you want, but it doesn't get you anywhere.
No.
Well, I can't talk.
Especially not in modern time.
It's like, oh,
it might have 60 years ago.
Yeah.
70 maybe.
Sure. You never know what it's like back then.
Yeah.
Stories.
A lot. Well, and that's another thing. Like, personalities get passed down. Like, they don't necessarily, and they evolve as well. Like, I've met people that it's like, okay, like, yeah, you know, I've met like I know people where the kid is exactly like the parent. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you fucking sound just like him, and you talk just like him, and you carry yourself just like him. But then there's other people that you see that are, you know them, and you know their dad, and it's like, you're like, the kid is, or I shouldn't say kid, but it could be a 20-year-old person.
Yeah, but his son.
You're a fucking evolution of that fucking dude. Like,
right.
Essentially, like, you're his procreation, but like, their personality kind of fucking, it slightly molds, but it also molds. You can see that there's many other molds that have been, people that have imprinted on his persona and his personality. Like in the
touch on role models.
Yeah,
because that's what it is. Like those guys,
walk just like their dad and talk just like their dad. That's because their dad's their role model.
Yeah, that their dad's the dude that they wanted to be.
The people that you talk about, afterwards, he's had many role models in his life, or she,
he or she, whoever it's had, they've had multiple.
Like, oh, this guy, he was really smart. I want to learn from that. I want to learn from him. I want a little bit of this, because that's the best knowledge you can take, is all the knowledge.
Yeah.
Not all advice is good advice, but all advice is good advice.
But also, knowledge is a tool. It's not something to be flaunted.
No.
And I've learned that pretty recently. Like, that's a kind of a hard thing to know. Like, it's a hard thing to learn and grasp. Hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
It's like, understanding that, okay, I have this knowledge. I know this, but how exactly do I share this, and is this moment something that I should share, this particular thing?
Right, all of my friends.
That Four Agreements book, it fucking kind of explains on that anyways, is like knowledge. Knowledge is a parasite, and it's something that you can use, but you shouldn't in a lot of cases.
All of my friends,
always use it as long as you're not gonna fucking belittle someone.
Right. Like, all of my friends, they look to me, they're like, oh, you're the smartest one. But you're just talking about grades. Everybody is smart in their own sense, depending on the situation you're given.
Yeah.
Where you're at, what you are doing. We could be working on a roof together. You might know some stuff I don't, and I've done it a couple of times.
Yeah. And I've only ever messed with roofs twice, but I've done a lot of research on them.
Exactly. Like, just because you haven't done this 100 times doesn't mean that you don't have knowledge I don't.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't look down on people like, oh, well, you haven't done this much before, so your advice is invalid. No, that's wrong.
That is very true.
And a lot of people don't think about that when they're talking to people.
And people don't think about the fact that a lot of times when you ask for advice and they give you advice, they're doing what their past self would have done.
Mm-hmm.
Or their future self, whoever. If you're asking advice from somebody that's 5 or more years younger than you, then
you look back 5 years.
You're kind of barking up the wrong tree unless they've experienced the exact fucking thing that you've experienced.
And no one ever experiences the same exact thing.
Yeah, you can have that fucking thought in the back of your head of like, okay, yeah, I know what this person did, but, and I'm going to try to look at it from their perspective, but most people can't necessarily even see the other person's perspective.
No.
Like, you can't necessarily see it from exactly, you're not that person, you haven't experienced all of their things.
And you don't know what's going on right in this instant.
Yeah.
Why they asked you.
So one of the things you got to think about is, okay, it makes it easier if you think about it from the aspect of if that person went through everything that you've went through, and you take what they say to you, if that person's went through everything. Assuming they're being honest. Then they are essentially giving you the advice that only they can give. You could ask somebody else who's experienced what you've experienced 100 times, and they might tell you the exact same fucking thing.
Yeah, Caitlin's asked for advice numerous times, but I've told her every time I give her advice, I'm a guy. I don't know what it's like to be a girl, and I've never walked in your shoes.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like to be a teenage girl.
This is what I would do. And that's all I can give.
Yeah.
But that's me giving 100%, being honest and open like that. I don't, like, I feel like you should tell. I don't know exactly what you have going on. But if I were you, go here. Like, this is what you want. And that's too important to just shell out immediately.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, you tell them the truth, they don't like it. They want to hear what
they have
and
a lot of people, the reason that a lot of people will lie is because they are afraid of telling you the truth.
I feel like
they're afraid of what's going to be said. But yeah.
I've been there.
I've been there before too. And I've grown a lot recently. Like knowing exactly how certain lies can affect your future. No matter what.
Years ago, I always lived by peace, love, and positivity. I let go of that. But I'm coming back to it.
Yeah.
I liked where I was when I was doing that. And I kind of forgot about it. I just used the motto and wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
At first, I was doing it.
Well, it's like people not practicing what they preach.
Exactly.
You know, not everybody practices exactly what they preach.
No, I'm going back to that. And I feel good.
That's one of the hard things that a lot of people don't have, and I've been terrible about disciplining myself up until the last couple of months.
I could vouch for that.
Huh? You can fucking vouch for me on that.
Yeah.
But
I've seen your progression.
Yeah.
And transgression.
Wake up at fucking 4:00 in the morning, go for a run.
Well, there's been days
work out.
I wake up and I hop on the PlayStation, get into a party with Gabe. I'm like, I don't know where Sam's at.
Yeah.
This is weird. His truck's here. Like, I went and looked out. He wasn't there. I'm not sure. Maybe he's over at the neighbors, but no. Then I look on Facebook and there's a picture of you. This is a great run, blah, blah,
I
blah.
had a great run this morning.
Whatever you say.
Whatever dumb shit.
It's like, this is awesome.
It's like nobody gives a fuck.
No, but that's not what it's about. Your profile, that's your page.
Yeah.
That's why it says my page.
Yeah, I know. I'm more into inspiring people nowadays to do what they want, because it took me for fucking ever to figure out what I actually want. And it's another thing that's really funny, is when you figure out that no matter what, this is temporary.
Everything is temporary.
Yeah. I seen a great, talking about that, I seen a great fucking thing with it's Tom Hanks fucking explaining that he wished that, a piece of advice that he wished that he could have had when he was younger was that this too shall pass.
Everything will pass.
Oh, you're having a good day? You're enjoying yourself? Have a nice beer sitting on the beach? This will pass. Oh, you're really sad somebody passed away? This too shall pass. It will pass. That's why I want to say right now, if there's anybody out there thinking about killing themselves, don't fucking do it.
Do not.
I've been there multiple times. Please do not fucking do that. It's a fucking terrible, and I've never fucking tried or ever actually had something in my hand. I've never even came close to committing the act, but having the fucking thought for me is enough. And just having the thought in your head at one point in time that, you know what, it'd be so fucking easy to just be dead.
Well, I want to say,
but we're important. Yes, we're all individuals. We're all
yes.
wonderful, great creatures.
Well, if thinking about killing yourself, yes, everyone will tell you it's selfish to your family, but it's selfish to yourself.
It is. It's selfish to you as well.
And that's the important part. Everyone goes straight for it's selfish for your family. And I've had a lot of time to think about this. But it's selfish to yourself. You don't know where you will be in a year. You don't know where you'll be in 6 months. Fuck it, a month. You could grow and prosper. Quit that job you hate. Find a new one.
Just remember, this too shall pass. All these bad feelings, as long as you learn to fucking like yourself. Learn to be happy
Love
with
yourself.
who you are. That's a tough one it's taken me fucking my entire life. And you'll never truly get to know your entire self, because we're constantly evolving, moving forward in time, grasping at straws to figure out new hobbies and find new things and figure out, it fucking, especially when people have, I know how hard it is to be depressed about your situation. Your situation can be fucking trash. life is terrible. Life is you gotta love and you gotta think in a way of everything that you see in this world is beautiful. The terrible shit comes with the great shit. You gotta think both of them are just as beautiful as each other, because you're gonna be experiencing a lot of it throughout your entire life. Unless you're really rich, and even those people are not all that happy.
They're not all happy or there. They're supplementing with something that gets them by. Even
that's
not drugs.
That's the important thing about not looking at someone else's life and thinking, God damn, I want that. Because it's not your life. You are you and he is him.
You should want things.
Yeah, don't be jealous of people.
And I'm not saying you should be materialistic, but you should look
Goals.
at somebody like Elon Musk and
be
like, I wish I had that mental strength to say something.
That type of initiative,
yeah,
and aptitude to fucking just take the leap. Just take the leap.
Exactly.
If you're gonna quit your job, quit your job. You know, if you hate your job, you should quit your job.
Do not let anybody, and I mean anybody, your mom, your spouse, do what is good for you. Because if you don't, you're gonna end up hating it even more, and you're just gonna think you're a shitty person. You need to do what's best for you.
Yeah, you're gonna be unhappy with your life. And
there's no reason.
That's the fucked up thing.
You might be pinching pennies. I really need this paycheck. Sure. Nothing says that you can't put an application out.
Yeah, that too, and fucking
get it by it.
At least cut down on anything that you are using in excess. Like whether it's, beer, whether it's smoking, whether it's, whatever it is, pot, there's many fucking things.
Caffeine.
I know, yeah, caffeine. Some people drink coffee all fucking day.
Drinks.
And energy drinks. I drink those every now and again now.
Yeah,
like maybe once. Well, actually, it's been over a week, but like once every 4 or 5 days, I have one.
Or even, I have to have the top tierest of steak, and you can't afford it. It's not that you don't deserve it. You don't need it.
Well, yeah. Oh, I need to celebrate. What the fuck are you celebrating? You had a hard week?
Buy a cheap bottle of wine.
Do something that's not fucking putting you into debt.
Yeah. Don't put yourself in
I've been
that
there
situation.
too. I've been there.
Don't worry guys, I can pay for this, and the whole 2 weeks waiting for my paycheck, I'm broke and I'm stuck in a hole. You don't need to put yourself in that situation unless you are sound for the situation.
Yeah.
And don't think I deserve this, because you don't deserve anything.
You don't.
No one deserves.
No one deserves a fucking thing. The only thing anybody really deserves is to be loved, and that's it. That's why everybody initially feels bad for someone who's literally just lonely.
Yeah.
Like they don't have their dad are dead. They're single, only child. Don't have any friends.
I've seen
those are people to feel bad for.
I've heard a lot of like, you should talk to him more. He's lonely. So he does like it this way. He prefers to be alone.
Yeah.
A lot of people do, especially in their elder years. They don't want constant company.
No. They like to enjoy the last of their time.
But they don't mind a good conversation. But they don't just want you sitting around feeling bad for them.
No.
Never. They never want that. I mean, and if you do, then that's you.
You have too much of a moral obligation to them within your own self.
I get you want your grandkids or whatever to show up more, be around, but you have to understand how busy were you at their age. They got 3 kids.
Well, there's not only that. You can go visit your fucking grandparents.
You definitely can. Especially with our circumstances.
I don't even care about that. If I base my I'm gonna base my entire rest of my life on whether or not I can visit certain family members for the most part easily.
Lately,
unless I can pay for a fucking plane at least twice a year, I'm not gonna fucking move that far away.
Yeah, my newest thing since everything.
I have maybe 20 years left with my grandparents. I don't want to make it so that I can only see them 20 more times.
It's unfair. These are the people that nurtured you, made you who you are. With everything going on that has gone on lately, I'm going to stick around and I want to be around my family.
Oh, yeah, me too. I don't know, family's the most important fucking thing there is. It is.
Yeah. And I'm fortunate enough to not live in a terrible area.
And like I said once, blood is thicker than water, and when you make yourself the water,
you're the water.
You're the water.
You flow first.
Yeah.
It's just the way it works.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think the importance is to care.
I agree. Well, care and empathy and understanding. You can't. Yeah, and you can't be selfish.
If you're selfish, then everyone sees it firsthand, and they think of you that way, and it's
like, oh,
nobody wants to be perceived as selfish.
Yeah, and you can't necessarily fucking,
it's different. Like,
you can't get after someone because of something they're doing necessarily.
Well,
you can try to guide people in the right direction, but they're never gonna fucking do what you want them to do.
No, because you shouldn't ask anyone to do something they don't want to do.
No. Well, and some people end up in the case of where, you drank too much beer, you got 3 DUIs, okay, now you need to quit drinking because you got to pass a UA or whatever kind of fucking beer test you have to take every fucking couple of days.
That reminds me back to...
I'm thinking more like on drugs or something, but...
Right.
I guess it'd be like a work thing if you were having to be tested for alcohol multiple times.
When I first met that cop, he was angry with me because I didn't have a driver's license. And I was like, oh, Silas Lee. And he's like, where'd this come from? I'm like, that's my name.
Yeah, he thought your last name was Fowler.
You guys were going off Facebook.
Yeah, he thought your last name was Fowler.
Which is understandable. But he jumped right to it, and right after that, he was cool as a cucumber.
and he knew my name, so he was like, oh yeah, Samuel Fowler, Silas Fowler.
There's a difference, and it's got to be perceived. Because he was mad at first, and then instantly he went to cool as a cucumber, talking to me, He calmed himself. He did.
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay, good. We didn't have a man that's not in the system.
Yeah, he took a deep breath. I watched him, and he was very calm and cordial about it.
Yeah, he was a pretty cool guy.
Very nice guy. Couldn't ask for any better law enforcement out there.
Yeah.
No, straight up.
Yeah, I agree.
That's...
You know why I'm smirking. I'm not going to say, though.
I know.
Maybe 10 years down the road.
I had a hard time not saying anything else. You can leave that in.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to leave that in. I'm totally going to leave that in.
I think I did it safe.
You want to fucking call it a night so I can go to bed and go to work tomorrow?
Sure. Well, right. That's a good note to end on.
Yeah, it's a good note. Deuces, people.
Hey, it was good chatting with you guys.